All right. Now it's time to take a break from Sacramento. We're leaving the Golden One Center and we check in at Georgia Tech. So we are going into Atlanta, the hometown of Cody Rhodes, and where Roman Reigns played football. And we get a...
I didn't know they had this in common.
Yeah, I mean, this is all legit here. It's a tie that both men have to the city, which is where Bad Blood is taking place. And so on Thursday night, they met so covertly that Roman required a motorcade of 7 vehicles to escort him to the stadium. Cody, a mere man, a man of the people, just drives up like a minimum 6-figure vehicle that he is driving here.
Ford Mustang.
You know what? Man of the people. And they meet at the 50-yard line, and Reigns says, "This is where I shed blood, sweat, and tears many times. This is my field. Therefore, it's my stadium. And if it's my stadium, it's my city." And he asks Cody, "What have you done for my city?" Cody just looks at him and says, "Bitch, WTBS 605. That's what I've done. Have you ever heard of Techwood Studios? Center Stage?" And
then he didn't do anything.
Yeah, it's like, okay, you're a Nepo baby is what you're telling us here. You have done nothing here in the city. You moonsaulted onto Wardlow. That's what you did in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Then he brings up the Omni, now called the State Farm Arena. Now, I don't know if he meant to say that like the major wrestling building was the Omni. Now the major building is the State Farm Arena. These are not the same place. These are different buildings.
Is it even in the same location? Like, did they tear down the Omni to build this building? Like,
that's a good question. I don't know if they're the same location, but the Omni was demolished in 1997. So I feel we could give him a mulligan on this one, but the way it was worded. And he explains multiple generations of his family have bled for this city. You played football here. Thank you. Then you went back to the beach. That was actually maybe the best line of this thing. He calls this his thank you for playing football here.
Thank you for playing football for me. Thank you for doing my dirty work, basically.
This is my home. Reigns says, "Cody, you have everything to lose. I have nothing to lose. After they took Jimmy from me, they took my wise man, my bloodline, and my Ulafala. And I'm a man with no country." And Cody warned him before WrestleMania last year that you would be standing here, a chief without a tribe. And look at that. He looks around and says, there's a tribal chief. It's not you. There's a WWE champion, and it's not you. Roman cuts to the chase, says, "What do you want, Cody?" Cody says, "I want your word that you'll have my back so I can have yours." And Reigns gives him his word. But when all is said and done, I'm taking back what's mine, as he eyes the championship. And Cody says, "It's not yours to take." And then Roman is ready to leave the 50-yard line and realize, man, this was a lot of travel for what could definitely have been a FaceTime call. But Cody stands in front of him, and Roman says, "You're in my way." So Cody steps back, and Roman looks at him. "You're in my way in life." I wanted like an orchestra to be playing as Roman walked out of Georgia Tech.
Yeah, I'm keeping that line. I'm going to remember that line, and then maybe someday, John, if I happen to walk in your doorway in your same path, you could say, "You're in my way," and I will say, "You're in my way in life."
I promise you I will use this line one day in real life. This was maybe the most expensive on-location shoot WWE has done. I thought it was great for this one time. I saw a lot of people speculating, like, is this going to be the future of like WWE promo shoots and stuff? I do not want these to be a regular thing. I thought it was a great idea. Yeah, listen, you had a tie in here, very well produced. It was just slick.
They can't afford to do this every single week. Okay,
they can afford to do a lot. But
okay, yeah. But they refuse to. Okay, if Mark Shapiro has anything to say about it, I don't think they'll spend that much. But for special occasions, when you're trying to push to the one of the main events of the pay-per-view in the city, that like in a setting that makes sense to make that event feel that much bigger, this was perfect. This was great. And at this point, we could safely say, forget Elizabeth and Macho Man, forget Lita, Matt Hardy, all this stuff. This is the greatest love story that the WWE has ever told. The tension that exists on screen between these two. It was magical the first time. It was magical when they met up like about a year ago. Remember on that edition of SmackDown when Cody went from Raw to SmackDown and they just had that face-to-face, just staring at each other. You're just like, oh, I can't wait for this. And even now, when they're supposedly on the same side, the tension is still there, and it is magnificent. There's something special about this chemistry. I think it's a defining rivalry of this particular era of the WWE. And
how much fan fiction is going to be written out of this one image?
There's already novels about this, I'm sure. Like Google it, John, in your spare time after this. But the setting was absolutely perfect. I think they captured it beautifully using this sort of like top-notch production crew. And but it wasn't just pretty pictures. Like, I don't think they just relied on like, their special like expensive cameras and their drone shots and all that stuff. There was actual substance to this interaction. I thought it was well scripted and like well delivered. For the first time, you had Roman Reigns in this scene, essentially like vocalize about what he's endured and what he's lost, and he's got no family, no wise man, no Ulafala. He's almost like admitting vulnerability, like for the first time. And I think it makes him a lot more likable. He's also essentially surrendering to Cody's lead here, asking Cody, what do you want? And Cody, I think, like, continues to just like be an example of like the best kind of babyface. He's not an anti-hero like Steve Austin. He's not a sort of, I'm going to make fun of my opponent and then make the audience laugh type of babyface like The Rock. He's just like purely good. And I think you can tell, like, this man is greatly influenced by the media that he's consumed, and we know that he is a big comics fan, probably a big movie fan. We know that as well. And like, these are almost like the best like archetypes of great movie heroes, because they're just, they it's like the best of like a Steve Rogers distilled into like this sort of character. He represents good, but he also doesn't take shit and never like makes he's never made fun of by the opponent, and he never lets other people get away with it. Yet he doesn't have to like lower himself to like their level either. So I thought this was great, and what a way to make Atlanta feel special. Imagine you lived in this city. Wouldn't you get so much FOMO hearing them like give so much special attention to where you live and not being able to go to this?
Yeah, I was waiting for Cody to just lean in and whisper, "Stadium Stampede." That's what I want.
That would be great. Well, they got war games.
Could you? How entertaining would it have been to watch this like as a fly on the wall without the special effects, without the music, and just watch them like shoot this without any of that? Like, they just have to do this totally dialed into these characters. I mean, this is
I'm sure it was like a movie scene. Like, if you ever walked past a movie shoot, I'm sure it was just like that.
This was probably the most noteworthy thing on the show. It was quite the production of WWE.
If you like this video, consider joining our Patreon, the Post Wrestling Cafe. Multiple bonus podcasts every week, ad-free shows, and access to our full archive. Otherwise, a like and subscribe is much appreciated. Thank you for watching.